So, did you personally hack into somebody's telephone?
I've got a lawyer telling me that if I say that now, I've been asked into Scotland Yard already, and if I say that now, they can arrest me for doing that.
Only if you've done it?
Indeed. So clearly that would be incriminating myself and have to be completely daft to do that. But, got to say...
You've just said it's that if it was for celebrities and politicians, it was all right.
Well, OK, so yes, I would say...
So you've hacked into celebrities' telephones?
Are we supposed to be going down this line?
Well, the crime is the same, whether it's Millie Dowler's telephone or whether it's a celebrity's.
You're a journalist, you were there, you were in the very heart of it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, when I was promoted from reporter to deputy features editor, the first thing I did was to ring up the PIs that we were paying a ludicrous amount of money to, between £2,000 and £4,000 a week, to do these things, and I demanded to listen to their tapes.
Was this approved of by a higher level, though?
Yeah, sure, yeah. No.
So who signed it off? That sort of payment, it's a lot of money.
Well, I mean, Rebecca Brooks was features editor.
So she signed it off?
Yeah, clearly. Well, that's one of the things that I've been so disappointed about, in that I have said, OK, we did all these things, you know, for the greater good, just to write truthful and well-researched articles, and, you know, catching people who are very difficult to catch. Yeah. You expect your boss to stick up for you, not to say, oh, we knew nothing about it. Oh, it's all that reporter over there.
Let's pick the bits out of this then. So Goodman was jailed for 4 months, Mulcair for 6, after they admitted intercepting messages on Royal Aid's phones. That was in January 26, 2007. The Press Complaints Commission says it was satisfied after its investigation that no one else at the News of the World knew of tapping. So that's 2 people. Nobody else at the News of the World knew about the tapping.
Well, everybody knew. It was gossip talk. I mean, I remember walking outside talking to a paparazzi and he was making a joke, you know, who have you hacked today? It was common knowledge. It was an overused technique, and
so I'm going to ask you again. So you have tapped into celebrities' phones as part of a culture at that newspaper and possibly other newspapers of acceptance.
Well, I mean, under my watch, if you like, that certainly happened. And
was the editor of the newspaper aware that that was happening at the time?
Yeah, apparently Andy Coulson was sobbing into his beer last night that he was going to jail. Stories that I worked on came from policemen who'd been paid for the information.
And again, there must have been a budget for that.
There was. Well, I think we had the biggest budget in...
So there must be signed chits somewhere where somebody like Andy Coulson or Rebecca Brooks has signed off the payment of police. They must exist somewhere, mustn't they?
Yeah, it would go a little bit higher than that because it came out of the safe in another editor's office.
So hang on a second. So there is a safe in someone else's office that was used to pay
cash
the police?
Or cash?
Yeah, I mean, all I will say is the most amount of cash I ever paid for a story was 30,000 quid in 2 carrier bags.
To who? The police?
No, I don't have to go into that, but that's the kind of level of money.
Is there a list of people that you go to for this? Is there a list of people within the police that you knew that you could pay off?
No, it's a much longer relationship that takes a while to develop. I mean, no...
Well, it's a perfectly legitimate question. Is it a long list of established contacts that you had?
Well, it's not a very long list, actually.
So some people were on the take. Some high-up people were on the take over a long period of time.
I think even Rebecca admitted that. I mean, that's, you know, reasonably well established.
Front page of The Independent today, Murdoch Empire in crisis. Is this a crisis for News International? Does it extend beyond the News of the World to Sky?
I think it does. I think it absolutely does, because what we're doing at the moment and what the Culture Committee is meant to be doing at the moment is asking whether the Murdoch organisation is fit and proper to be running so much of British media, let alone taking over completely Be Sky B. And now we're thinking, well, hang on a minute, the News of the World is their biggest title, makes them something like 40 million a year. It's the biggest read newspaper on the planet, I'm told, and it could well be corrupt at its core. And whose fault is that? Rebecca Brooks may well say it's inconceivable that it's her fault, but hang on a minute, if it's not her fault, then it should be her fault, because if you're not responsible, you should be responsible in her sort of position, and possibly Rupert Murdoch as well. So I think we do have to look to the takeover of Be Sky B and think, no, this is no longer enough. Murdoch is responsible for 40% of our media, and if he and his people have encouraged a culture within the media that allows this sort of thing to happen and go on, then we really need to ask questions about whether he should have any more.
I mean, all we were trying to do was to write, you know, decent, honest, truthful articles about things, and OK, sometimes we did stray into that grey area.
Straying into the grey area is deleting messages on Millie Dowler's telephone.
That was unforgivable. That was a freelance who was not staff at News of the World, who got a bit carried away with it.
Hacking into the victims of 7/7.
Are you aware of other occasions when things like that have gone on?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Time to find out what comments have been coming into the hub so far this morning. Samantha?
Absolutely loads of reaction to the phone hacking debate. Victoria Mulholland on Facebook says, this is the most open and frank discussion I've seen on the TV about the phone hacking. Thank you, Paul, for being as honest as you have. And Glenn Allen's emailed in saying, forget your high-powered lawyers. If you want to get the truth out of someone, send in Philip Schofield and Anne Diamond. You guys were on fire this morning.